Greetings! Welcome back to Pink Oddbird. Today I'm super excited because I'm here with 1 and 2 books that I just finished. And I don't normally really do custom orders that much, but this one was a special request by someone who saw the last mixed media book that I did on my channel, which was the Music Vault video for the Worrisome Heart book. And she asked me if I would be able to do a book based on the song Gypsy by Fleetwood Mac. And I'm like, I dig that song. I dig Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, I think I can do that. So I did it. So she gave me a couple of specific things that she liked, and I was like, okay, well, I will make these books, or actually I said, I'll make it for you and see what we come up with. So as I was thinking about it, I decided that I actually had 2 different visions for this song, and so I wanted to create that in 2 separate books. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I've done. All right, so we're gonna start with this one. And she did not ask me to make 2. She asked me to make 1, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, when I started thinking about it, I'm like, okay, I have to do 2 because I have 2 different ideas for this. And so she's going to pick which one of these that she likes. So whichever one she picks will be hers. All right, so let's go ahead and start. This first one is going to measure, it is about 8 3/4, 8 3/4 by about 5.5-ish, and the spine is a 2-inch spine. And again, these are like the mixed media books, like the ones that I do, so they're not really like journals per se. But for this vision of the song Gypsy, I was like, well, the lyrics are kind of very personal or interpretive based on how you want to understand the song. So I tried my best to take parts from the song and incorporate them in this book, and actually in both of these books. And so I was like, well, this is kind of actually a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. For this book in particular, the vision that I kind of had for the song Gypsy is that this one is a sort of white Bohemian kind of gypsy-ish, and with light/white witch vibes. And I came across that idea because I love American Horror Story, and she was the white witch in American Horror Story. And so I'm like, I kind of want to incorporate that feel. And when I was like asking my friends and husband, everyone had a different idea about what they felt this book looked like. But my husband kind of said it the best. He's like, when I said, what style does this look like to you? He's like, it looks like a good witch who lives in the forest. I said, all right. All right, so that is kind of the idea about this book. And one of her favorite lyrics in the song talks about lace and paper flowers. So I did want to incorporate a lot of flowers and a lot of lace in both of these books. And I tried to, wherever you see flowers, you should see lace. Okay, I'm sorry. I know I'm talking a lot, but I have to explain this stuff to you guys. So on the cover, as you can see, it just says, she was just a wish, and that is one of the lyrics from the song. And then I just have layered on some fabric in the background. There are some different flowers that you'll see here. I have a big vine that's going down here. I chose this girl because she looked really peaceful and happy. And that is really the only reason why I chose her for the cover. And so there are some metal pieces here. I have flowers, a rose, and some more trim down at the bottom. And then of course there's this stick that I picked up a while back on one of my walks. So that's what the front cover looks like. On the spine, you'll see that it's very sparkly. I wanted these to be like kind of, like I said, light witch vibes, so I wanted there to be some kind of crystals in here. Maybe she collects these, maybe they're the little gems in her life that she wants to hold on to, because we all have these hidden gems, and you know, they are parts of our life. And then I have some trim here, just different fibers that I've done for a little tassel. And then there's a little kind of like beads, I guess. Beads from a necklace. So I just strung those on there with the fibers. So it's an upcycled book cover. So I painted on the cover, of course. I didn't seal this. The book cover underneath is kind of like orangish. I kind of like the vibe of the orange that's sort of peeking through in little spots here and there, because to me it adds to that feeling. And then I just have this super soft fabric wrapped around the spine. Okay, and then of course the tassel is removable. So I'm going to go ahead and flip through for you guys. So I've lined the inside cover with that same fabric, and I left it plain because it's so soft. I love this fabric so much. I have a little garment pin here with some little bells, teeny tiny bells, so that there's a little jingle jangle when you handle the book. I have a big fabric flower that I made here, and then I just have a little pin here with some little beads that are kind of crystal-like, really pretty. That iridescent look is one that I was really trying to go for, in addition to like the neutrals. So that's like a fabric page. I've just done some little random paint swatches on there. So here we have this girl. She's just layered onto this page, and there's some flowers there, and of course some brown lace. On this page I've just decoupaged a napkin on there, and some trim and some lace. And then down here at the bottom of the book, you'll notice there is one boho bead. There are 2 of these on each of the books, so that's this one. And then I've just made a few tags. Some of that pretty soft fabric, I've just made a tag out of that. And then I've just done some long skinny tags as well with some stamping. And so, like I said, the vibe for this white Bohemian is like, what I envision in my head is like sheer curtains, lace, feathers, softly dim strung lights, and all of those kinds of like really light and delicate things is the kind of Bohemian feel that I was trying to achieve with this book. So here we have some glitter paper. I don't know if you can pick that up in the light, but it's kind of like an iridescent glitter. And then I have a paper doily behind, and then one of these really delicate little flower sort of applique doily thingies that I got from Dolly, and then some feathers at the top. The feathers that I got were on sale at Michael's. They're dipped, the tips of them are dipped in silver glitter, and then just some lace down here at the bottom. So here's the center of the first signature. I have one of these really big tassels here in the center, and some very pretty like shimmery fabric. I don't know if you guys can see this, but that fabric is so beautiful. I had gotten this at a thrift store, but it's so pretty. And then I layered some lace on top of that. So here I got a lady who's been stamped out for me by Miss Lynn, who's a bit of birdsong on YouTube. And then I put this poetry page in because the nature poem was really nice, I thought, and it's just really pretty. Days was also pretty. So I put this poetry page in here, just a little bit of reading. And then I put in some little zodiac charms here and there. This one is for a Leo. And then along with that, you'll see there's little feather charms that go with it. And then a tiny bell is also included on this little charm piece. And I've just decoupaged some sewing pattern paper on here and stamped a little guy at the bottom. And the tag is fully stitched as well. Got some little Tim Holtz birds in here. This one, I tried to paint over it a little bit with white paint to kind of dull it out a little bit. But I put those in because nature. Here's another skinny tag, and I put the little time on there. I feel like she's also talking about the passage of time in this song, about how things come and go in your life, basically. So I have a little collage here with some feathers, buttons, eyelash trim, and behind it is some more of that iridescent glitter sparkle paper. And then there's also layered on some tulle that has teeny tiny little hearts on it. So that one's just like a really delicate little page. And then here, we've got some more of that eyelet. I guess it's kind of like an eyelet lace or something. And then more decoupaging some other lace. We've got another Tim Holtz butterfly here. it's music paper that's layered in the background. We've got another tag here that I made out of vellum, and for this I used some pretty iridescent embossing powder that I got from Miss Kim, and I don't know if you can see that, but there's a feather that I've embossed on here, and then there's just like some script, so it just looks like a really delicate little dainty tag. And then again, these are topped with seam binding here from Miss Kim, decoupaged on there, stamped, and then this charm is for Capricorn. So on the last page here, again, I wanted it to have these light vibes with the lights and sparkles. So there's some crystals and pearls on this page. The pearls are also iridescent. I don't think you can really tell that in the video. And then I had these little, I guess, die cuts of letters. I gessoed on them and painted them a few times and then just stamped over them with script stamp to stamp out the word Gypsy. And then I just layered on this really pretty fabric in the background that's kind of got embossed detailing on it. So over here, again, we have more lace happening. There's some more of those iridescent pearls on this page, as you can see. And then out of this big piece of lace, it's got also some like flower detailing in it. There's some flower embossed fabric kind of in the background here, if you can see that. And then I've layered some lace on it because, again, I'm trying to put laces and fabric side by side. I mean, that's like literally one of the opening lyrics of the song, I think, in fact. So it's a little music piece. I've just turned this into a little pocket and another one of those tags. And then here on the side, it's hard to see it. I don't want to pick the book up for it, but there's a little safety pin and it's got some iridescent little crystals on here. So on the back side, I have layered on more lace, some fabric rosette trim here. There's a very pretty little metal piece that I've added here. A lot of trims happening. This is on the fabric page. One of those little fabric tags. And then this is one of those papers that I have that has the seeds in them. So if you wanted to maybe write a little note on this and plant it, it will grow into a plant. And that's the end of the first signature. So here I have some sparkly tulle. It's got little glitter sparkles on it, and I've layered it with some lace, and then it just flips up, and then there's a really pretty little applique that I've layered on here on top of that craft doily from Miss Rita. Some more collaging that I've done here. I've put this lady in both books because one of the lyrics in the song talks about having a look of fear and freedom. And I feel like depending on how you want to look at her, she looks like she might have a slight tinge of fear, but she also looks like she might be dignified and you know, is that the right word I'm looking for? I don't know if that's the right word that I'm looking for, but you know, she's solid because she's got freedom. So I just thought that she was a really powerful image to put in conjunction with this song. I've got some crystals there at the bottom, and then just a lot of layering. It's not even worth me explaining all the layering because you have to see it to really get a full understanding. So this is just a burlap page, and then in here I have one of these little greeting cards that I got at the thrift store, but I thought this flower was really pretty for this. So I have a smaller tag here inside, and it's got a little Tim Holtz die cut, and this one is for Taurus. Some more collaging on this page here. On this page, I've got more of those iridescent beads. There's a little string of pearls off to the side. And what I've done is I've tried to make like a little makeshift dream catcher. So of course here in the circle, I've got a little gemstone or like a little crystal there in the center. You can see it reflecting. And I've just made like the little crisscrossy bits out of the eyelash trim. And then I've just got some feathers and ribbons down here, a little flower. So over here on this page, I left it kind of plain just in case writing may want to be done. So I've got the second boho bead is here. And this is a really pretty dainty like doily that I got from Dolly. I think it might be vintage. She got it at a flea market and she sent that to me like a while ago. So on this page, just more collage. Here, I made like a little, when she says lightning strikes maybe once, maybe twice, to me, it makes it feel like she's saying sometimes in your life a good thing can happen once, but maybe if you're lucky, it'll happen twice. And it's rare, but it could happen because, you know, when lightning strikes in that fashion, it doesn't always strike in the same place at the same time. So I just did this little, it's just like a little sheath, or I guess, but I just wrote lightning strikes maybe once, maybe twice. And I chose to put it on that iridescent glitter paper because it's kind of sparkly, maybe like lightning. And then I have a lightning bolt here that I printed on some vellum, and I just made it kind of like a big slide. And I have another one here because it strikes maybe twice. So you've got 2 lightning bolts in here, and they're both printed on vellum. And like I said, I put them in this like sheath so that they're protected, because it's also symbolic of if you have things that happen in your life that are very precious like that, you want to protect them. And so I could have just put these in pockets, but I thought that this would be like a little bit more symbolic to things like in the song, kind of like what she says, lightning strikes maybe once, maybe twice. You can find love. You can have a really good friend. Some say that this song was also made about her friend who passed away. So like I said, there's lots of different interpretations for this. So on this other burlap page here, I have this lady here up at the top, and I've just put her on. She looks really, I don't know, she looks really carefree. She's like kind of wrapped up in leaves or something, and I just thought that she was really kind of befitting for this. And then I've just layered on some very pretty fabrics. Here is another little garment pen with 3 little bells on it. So we're getting to the end here. Behind there is some pretty wallpaper that I love, and it's an iridescent wallpaper, but I've covered it up with some mauve lace. And then I've got more pearls draped on the side here, another rose, tucked in a little leaf because again I wanted to have some of that nature-y kind of feel to it. And then Lynn sent me this also, and I made a purchase from her Etsy shop, but this was perfect because it's kind of like flowery and boho. And then I have the last little fabric tag, and this one's got Libra on it, so I thought these were so cute. There's my stamp. And on the back here, again, I have flowers, and then it's mixed in with some lace. But what you don't really see is it's a secret pocket. So if you pull behind there, there's one last little tag with a bunch of lace topped at the top part of it. And it just tucks in here. And then once you tuck it in, it just kind of looks like it's part of the page. So that's really pretty. And then that's going to be the back of the book. And that's the end. So I hope that you're able to get my vision on this one in particular. It's different. It's not your typical Bohemian or Gypsy, but it's real. It exists. So I hope that you guys like this one, and let's go ahead and move on to the next. Hopefully I'm not going to have you guys sitting here for an hour. All right. Okay, so here we have the second book. This one is obviously more along the lines of a typical Bohemian and Gypsy style book. And when I was making this one, I was having a little bit of trouble figuring out how I wanted to make the cover on it because the signatures got so bulky. But I thought about it on this book and I was like, what do I do? And so I needed a little bit of help. I reached out to my buddy Jeneen, who was Lipstick Legion Craft here on YouTube, and she showed me a book that she has, and it's built in the style that I have been wanting to make for a while, and I just totally completely forgot about it. So when she showed it to me, I was like, Yes, honey. So she sent me that picture and I was like, thank you, Jeneen, you're a wizard. Thank you so, so much. So this book is made in a specific style. And when we get to that, I will show it to you, but I wanted to make that disclaimer right up front. So as you can see, it's a, well, let's take this off. I just put a little knit kind of ribbon on there to close it. So this one's a little bit bigger than the other. This one is going to measure almost, it's about 9 and 3/4 by about 6.5-ish, I'd say. So it's a little bit bigger than the other. It's a soft cover also, and let's just go ahead and talk about the cover. So the first thing that we have here is a little tidbit from from that big vintage belly dancing belt that I have. I took a piece of that belt off and I added it on here so it's nice and jingly. And then we've got some of that green pretty fabric. It's kind of satiny in the background. I've layered some tulle on, applique. I titled this one on the front Freedom because, again, like I said, she talks about fear and freedom in the song. So I wanted to make sure that I incorporated something like that because it was kind of really, I don't know why that was so prevalent in my head. I have some buttons that I've layered off to the side here. Some gold trim, black applique, pom-pom trim, lots of layering, flower, and oh, on the side here we have the first boho bead that has been safety pinned to the book. Oh, and it's also got a little leaf charm on there. I've added in the books belongs to. Velvet is one of the Velvet I think it's Velvet Underground. That's the lyric from the song, and I wanted to, in this book, incorporate a lot of velvet. So you will see a lot of velvet in this book. And one of the things that I was reading about Stevie Nicks is she loves her room. Or I should say she loves her room, but she really loved her room before she got famous. And she was really notorious for sleeping on the floor, apparently, because it makes her feel connected, brings her down to earth, And so she was really fond of being in her room and surrounded by just the things that she loves, lace and flowers and everything that she loved in her room was there. And so I feel like we all feel like that. We like to be surrounded by all the things that we love. And so this book is kind of representational of that. Okay, so here, I'm just going to let you look at this. This is velvet. It's black velvet. And then I've just got another one of those bells from the belly dancing belt. And then some turquoise trim here. And then I've just got another little strip of trim. Again, flowers and lace. I'm trying to put those two together. And then back behind it, I have this little tag. And I just did some stamping on it. I used Dolly's method of distressing for this. So I have added the portion of the map for Phoenix because that is where Stevie Nicks is from. So on this side, we've got another one of those really pretty like brass kind of middle pieces. Lots of layering on here, as you can see. I've got some pretty black lace down here at the bottom, and then up here a tag with a little stamped feather. Some burlap trim. Miss Shana did that for me a while back. I've got some buttons, music ribbon. I got these really pretty little pieces. This one is dark green velvet. It's so pretty in person. And flowers and lace. The lace also has flowers on it. And then another tag back here with a little flower pot. So here she is again, making her debut in this book. I've layered her on some really pretty jewel red paper, and this paper, I love it. So again, I've just made a really pretty collage with her. I have some gold little leaves that were in my stash that I added in with her, and another one of those bells from the belly dancing belt. So some little shaggy trim here, lace, and of course we've got some music paper back there. It's got some writing on it. I did some embossed tags in this one as well. I did use the black embossing powder that Miss Shana sent me. don't know if you can see, but yeah, there you go. It's embossed and they're really pretty in person. And then I have this little green lace fabric envelope that I made. And some music paper here. And then another embossed tag with some stitching. I did some washi tape back here and a little music note. And then I just have a little eyelet here on the pocket. And this is holding on these little pieces of bracelet. They have like that little tribal print on them, but that's what's happening here. So I have a little gold doily here. Everything's really nice and shiny. Inside of this little vellum pocket, I have put in some seashells and other little tidbits. I don't know if you can kind of see those, but I wanted to make sure I added in those seashells, have that little nature vibe. Thank you for those, Miss Priscilla. It actually flips open and then you have a little pocket here. Here on this page, I have it's another fabric page. It says lace and paper flowers. So I made this page basically all lace, and these are all the Prima paper flowers that are layered around it here. Have a little button, so that's obviously a lyric from the song. So here I have this little, I don't know, it's a piece that I got at a thrift store, and it was a really unique piece, and it's got like a bunch of different pieces of Indian dresses on it. And basically what the man told me was the dress, or the piece that I have, it's like a long runner. And it's got all these little squares on it with different segments that have dresses and dress pieces on it from India. And what happens is the girls wear these dresses, and after they get married, they never believe in wearing the dress again, so they sell them off. And the people who buy them make these beautiful long runners with all these different patches of different dresses on them. So this is one of the pieces of one of the dresses, and there's a little tuck spot back there. I did put, this one is embossed also. I put the little doll in because there's a little doll in the music video. And also I did that nature book. I just want to go back to that one really quick, because in the music video, there is a scene that has like her dancing in the forest, and you get the vibes that I'm trying to interpret on that book from that scene in the video. So yeah, that's that. And then like when they're going into her room and panning around that's this vibe. So just wanted to say that. But I've used some texture paste here. You can see with a stencil for that flower, and then also for this feather here. And then what I just did was I used the texture paste, and it was kind of clear. So I ran a little bit of my antique gold, I think it's antique gold, the Inca gold over it, so it has that kind of reflective feel and look on the page. So if you look at it in the right light, you'll see the flower here, the feather here. This page here, let's see, we have a little pocket here at the front. I just layered on some burlap and other black lace down here at the bottom. There's a little pocket, there's just a little gold tag in here. And then this is another little vellum tag, and I use that iridescent embossing powder from Kim. So I stamped a little flower on there and embossed it. And then another little map tag. So here is another little tag. Goes in the back pocket. And that is the end. Or is it? No. So what I was explaining to you is what Jeneen showed me is what's actually called a dos-a-dos book. And these books originated back in like 16th and 17th century. So as you can see, I was at the end of the book. So all you do is close it, and now we're at a new book, or a new side of the book, I should say. So on this side, what I've done is I've given it a nice big chunky little tassel on the side. Let me show you the top view. So this is what it looks like from the top. So this is where we just were, and then you just flip it, and now we're going to be digging into this side here. I have layered on several different kinds of fabrics, so many that I'm not going to name them all, but you can see. And then I have the second boho bead here. These are so fun to make, by the way. And then I just layered that with some of that Shayna trim there. I have a little gold coin that I tucked in here as well for, you know, the little element, the vibe, some more of those. And then I have a string that I've added on, and it's got heart. So it's kind of like a heart on a string, but it slides up and down. But it's kind of, as you can see, it's kind of plain right here. It's really meant to like live right here. So if you want it to stay there, you can glue it down. But I liked the idea of having it be kind of movable. So that is the front cover of this side. And again, I know it's really kind of the back cover, but both sides I try to leave pretty flat so that no one side is going to be wobbly or more wobbly than the other. Okay. All right. Okay. Again, we have another pocket here in the front with a tag. Here I used some rhinestones to make a butterfly wing. You can see I just kind of drew out my own butterfly body, and I did some stickling around that, and then I just used these rhinestones and some glitter to make the butterfly wing. So that's what you're seeing there. So here we have on layered more papers, more of that golden doily. Here's another little embossed tag. It's just got a flower and some script on there, some really pretty like floral fabric that I've got there, some gold sequins trim, and some more of that forest green velvet is down here. So here we have a nice big fabric flower on this side. It's got some butterflies sprinkled around in here and layered on different fabrics. Over here we have another piece of that belly dancing belt, and I have a little owl down here and some pom-pom trim. So here's the center of this signature. And then on this side, as you can see, I've just got some very pretty burgundy lace layered in here on top of this like textured gold paper. It's beautiful. Some shaggy trim down at the bottom. Oh, and this is a little pocket, so you can tuck something in there if you want to. And then there's a little map tag and a little crystal ball. And then I have these really pretty iridescent like jewels on either side. They're so pretty. And then on this side, we have another big fabric flower here up at the top that I've just layered on, made with some velvet and lace and stuff. And then I made a little feather, as you can see, and it's really pretty. And then on this side, we have another little tag, flowers and lace. And it's on paper. So here on this side, I have a little bit more of those prophetic herbs left over. So I made a little vellum pocket with some of those prophetic herbs, prophetic dreams. And as you can see inside of the vellum, you can kind of see the herbs sitting in there nicely. One of them was kind of pokey, I think. So that's why I added that little piece of washi there, because it was kind of starting to poke through. So that's why the washi is there. And then I've just got a tag behind there. So here I used some little Tim Holtz, these little, I don't know, dog tags are usually hung on them, but there's some lace, and then as you can see, it's just a nice little metal piece, a little tag with a music note tucked back there. And then I have added some bells onto the page, so they're nice and ringy, and they're in there with eyelets. So here's some more of that gold sequensy stuff. And you can stick a picture here or whatever you want to do, but it's some more of that really nice fabric. Here you can kind of see faintly I've decoupaged a napkin with a sunflower on it in there, and some more matte paper. On this side we have a little pocket here, so I just put a little gold tag in there, and I've got a little metal piece down here at the bottom. Another map tag is inside of this little card, but this card was so pretty I was like, ooh, I have to add that in. Some really pretty fabric, and we have Madame Fortune Knows All stamped here in the back of the book. And I just used some leftover, I've done a book, it's not live yet, but I've already filmed it, but this paper is left over from that, so that's where that comes from. And finally, there's my stamp. And so this is it, guys. So these are the two They both have their own meanings and their own, you know, backgrounds, but still tied into the same song. So I think that's kind of pretty neat. Okay, so those are the two Gypsy books. I hope you guys have liked this. I apologize because I know it's such a long video. There was a lot to talk about here. Which one did you guys like best? This one or this one? And I apologize because I know this video was kind of long, but I appreciate you guys sticking with me. There was a lot to talk about in these books. Let me know which one you guys liked best, which one was your favorite. I love them equally, of course. So sound off in the comments down below. Let me know what you're thinking. I appreciate you guys all being here, and I'm gonna go ahead and go. So be sure to stay tuned because you never know what direction this odd flock of ours is heading into. And until next time, toodaloo.